work in that first place. Now we have someone to pursue who is intelligent, who is concealing his trail, who has a number of identities. He's an extremely dangerous individual who considers what he does before he does it.
Kenda turns to the FBI for help finding Anthony Blevels.
He's wanted for homicide in Colorado Springs.
Days go by as police across the country keep an eye out for Khaki.
I didn't know if they had enough to catch that person. I really didn't. I didn't hold out a lot of hope.
But just when it seems the case is slipping through Kenda's fingers, a promising lead surfaces.
We get a phone call from the Louisiana State Police.
They had made a drug-related traffic stop.
Police seize 3 pounds of cocaine and multiple guns.
I'm about to get a smacking right now.
Anthony Blevels.
Niggas already know.
Mr. Blevels, aka Khaki.
Look me up, El Chapo.
Inside.
So whose guns and dope set back there? Huh?
There are 3 people in this
I'm on air right
Nobody
now.
knows who Anthony
Already a
was.
minute.
Nobody
and a half.
knows nothing.
Just to be safe, Kenda asks Louisiana police to fax him the mugshots of all 3 men. The last one to come through is that of the driver.
I'm looking at that fax of Kevin Dondre Freeman. And there is Khaki looking at me from the photo. Now we have another name. Who the hell are you? Well, one thing you are, Khaki, is you're under arrest.
Khaki is extradited to Colorado Springs. After months of pursuit, Kenda finally has his man.
I walk in and explain to him who I am, and somewhere between the lieutenant and the Kenda, Khaki tells me to stick it in my...
We already know you did these shootings. We have all the evidence. We have the witnesses that put you there. This is your chance to tell me what happened. I want to speak with my lawyer.
If you're dealing with a hardened professional criminal, you're wasting your time trying to interrogate him. You're not going to get a word. Not a word.
Regardless, Kenda has a good idea of how the crime went down. Khaki was trying to intimidate the rival East Coast Crips.
I'm going to send some gunfire your way, and I'm going to tell you about it later. And you continue to interfere with my business, and I'm going to get a little closer with this gun. And this girl and her boyfriend, who have nothing to do with this, happen to be in the way of the flying nut.
Khaki is charged with the murder of Sharon Coleman, but he still refuses to play ball.
Okay, fine. No statement then. In the meantime, you are in a little bit of a jam, aren't you? And that was the end of that conversation.
Khaki may be locked up, but Kenda's worried about the trial. Khaki has beaten the rap before. So far, the strongest evidence against him is his alleged confession to the informant in L.A.
Conversation alone isn't going to get you very far. Juries make an assessment of conversation. But when you apply that conversation to physical evidence, then it becomes proof.
In search of this proof, Kenda re-examines the statement Amber Wright gave about meeting Khaki at Mike Wood's apartment just moments after the shooting.
Sorry about your past. Got a little trigger happy with some East Coast Crips.
Why did Khaki visit Mike Wood's apartment after the shooting? Was it for help? To avoid serving hard time, to talk.
We explained to him the difficulties of him withholding information in a first-degree murder.
Well, Khaki came in, started talking to the girls. He grabbed me, took me outside.
After the shooting, Khaki gives me an AK-47.
That's the gun I used as a drive-by.
He says the cops don't know about him. They don't know about this gun.
All right, so what I need you to do is take care of this. I have no business, right? So what'd you do with it?
I scratched off the serial numbers and threw it in the reservoir.
Rampart Reservoir provides the drinking water for Colorado Springs. At over 100 feet deep and 13 miles around, recovering the rifle will be a challenge.
You know exactly where it is?
Yeah.
All right, we'll set it up.
Can the police department's dive team save the case?
They primarily are used in the recovery of dead bodies. They're believed to be in a body of water, either accidentally or through homicide. They on occasion are used to recover evidence.
4 days later, Kenda brings Mike to meet the dive team at Rampart Reservoir.
Our concern when we're recovering evidence is to make sure that whoever threw that item in the water, that we get that person on the shore to show us exactly where they stood when they threw that item in the water. We want to really limit our search as much as possible.
Mike uses a rock to point out the area where he threw the AK-47.
All right, guys.
And lead diver Sergeant Chuck Potter begins his descent to the bottom of the lake.
The detectives told us at our briefing that we were looking for the rifle barrel itself and also for the trigger mechanism.
Visibility is poor. Potter's team must feel their way, inch by inch, as they scour the bottom of the reservoir.
Sometimes it's so dark you can't see your depth gauge.
20 minutes pass, then 30.
But a lot of times you have doubt. You don't know how reliable this guy was. He could be lying to us again. You don't know that. But you have to go out there and search anyway.
Finally, the dive team's diligence pays off.
I can just feel rocks, and all of a sudden I feel something very different. I determined that, this is a rifle barrel.
There it is. And it is a barrel from an AK-47. It's really significant to get some physical item that can't be explained away that is part of this case and is where this guy said he put it. It's the key piece of evidence.
The discovery of the AK prompts Anthony Blevels to change his tune. He pleads guilty to second-degree murder and is sentenced to 20 years in prison.
I think there's relief in the community that we have a police force that has the ability to take a very complicated case like this, to be able to do the legwork, to put these people behind bars.
But having Khaki locked up is of little consolation to Sharon Coleman's family.
She was killed for a little bit of power, and her life to me and a lot of people around her was priceless. I loved her to death, but she was average. Not powerful, high-profile, influential people, rich, or anything like that. So Sharon's case could have gotten buried under a lot of paperwork, and it didn't. You know, Joe kept working it, and I appreciate what he's done.
She's in the wrong place at exactly the wrong time, and it results in her violent death. Khaki is indifferent to what he did. His attitude was, so what? Evil things are going on in this world. We all believe that if we're not part of that process, we will never suffer that activity from that evil. But evil is pervasive. In this particular case, evil finds Sharon Coleman at 1:30 in the morning because she's
Investigations from the case files of Lieutenant Joe Kenda. A pair of loving grandparents are shot dead in their home.
I don't think you could find a more traumatizing event than watching a loved one die violently in front of you.
But has the killer already slipped through Kenda's grasp?
They were gonna hop a train to Mexico.
I have a 1% chance of finding him in Mexico. If he's in Mexico, he might as well be on the moon.
Then, the most gruesome murder of Kenda's career.
My God, this is mutilation beyond the pale. This is obviously done. He's sick.
The nationwide manhunt ends in a treacherous showdown.
When someone is deeply disturbed, they are ultimately very dangerous because they are completely unpredictable. You you become hardened to this sort of thing is a sad fact of the profession. I don't lose all my emotions about humans, but I am able to coat my emotions in railroad steel. Not much gets through to me.
No, you gonna roll it right now? I want you to roll a good blunt.
Murder
Come on.
has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I'm Lieutenant Joe Cannon. I've solved nearly 400 homicides. Somebody has to take control.
Oh shit.
Somebody has to look out for the victim. I never know where it
You don't need to eat nothing right now. You already ate something.
I ate rice and chicken.
Yo. I bet. Redeem code, right? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay. It's like the same one you have?